let's talk about that. Like how we were able to, not the Snapchat in itself, but like, here's something I'm gonna say, and I don't know if anybody said it, is podcasters are the new rappers.
Facts. Ooh. That's real spill.
Right? Podcasters are the new rappers. What I hope we don't do is make the same mistake some of our favorite rappers did. Right? We all heard horror stories of people looking fresh, hit records, and then not having anything because they didn't retain any IP.
Yeah.
Right? What we're doing right now is IP. Whether it makes money or not, it doesn't matter. It's our intellectual property.
Yeah.
And you can sell it now, or you can build a company from it. That's interesting. 'Cause, I mean, you were in the music business before.
Yep.
And now we are, like, I personally feel like the next Jay-Z comes from podcasts.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because it all goes back.
It could be Joe Budden. It could be
Joe.
Charlamagne. It could be all these guys.
It goes back to the thing that we started with, because podcasting is probably the purest distillation of personal brand, right? Because it's not really news. I mean, it's kind of news, but not really. Really, you just want to hear their take on whatever topic, right? You want to hear whatever story, what's going on in their life, but really you just want to hear their take on the world.
Okay, so how does this, because to me, it feels a lot like, depending on who you watch, right? You know, like Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Right? Like, would you, like the radio shows of old, and to me, Howard Stern kind of ushered in this whole thing.
He's a master.
He ushered in those $100 million checks.
He's a master.
Right, the $100 million checks. Because if you think about it, you know, today we would call his show, it was a radio show when it was out, but we would have called it a podcast.
That's right.
Correct.
Right. And he created that whole model with Robin sitting in the back.
That's right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Don't forget about Beetlejuice, bro.
Beetlejuice.
This is our Beetlejuice.
You know what? I never did like you. I never did like you.
But Beetlejuice cool though, man. Everybody likes Beetlejuice, bro. Don't be ever fight nobody, bro.
Yeah.
This dude said
But you like a smart Beetlejuice though.
Like, I don't want no parts, ain't no good version of Beetlejuice, man. No diss to Beetlejuice.
Yo, Beetlejuice, my homie. Come on the show, man. I love to have you on the show.
No
Beetlejuice
diss.
was the man.
No diss at all. Nah, I mean, I think you're right, man. I think that's definitely the new rappers, and I do hope that people play it right. You know, back to your point about rappers back in the day not getting money. Everybody should go and watch Snoop's joint when he talks about how Master P put him up on game.
I watched that.
Because he talks about how...
Sum it up for me.
Well, I mean, the short version is he was like, you got to remember back in the day, he said rappers wasn't getting money. They was getting a chain, maybe a car.
They had to go on tour.
He said Master P was the first person that really took him under his wing and said, look, man, let me show you how to really get money. Let me tell you how to create IP. So Snoop put out a bunch of albums with them, obviously, but then he did a movie. Then he had his own groups. Then he had his own label, right? He was like, Master P taught me that game. And I'm hoping that the new rappers, the podcasters, learn that Master P lesson early. Own their IP.
That's a challenge.
That is a challenge.
Don't repeat history, bro, because this is our chance to own this.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that, like, yo, we always create the coolest things, but then we give it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting as we were talking, you know, in this whole context of brand, because isn't that what Master P really did?
Yeah,
Master P is a brand.
I mean,
Master
didn't he?
P is.
Yeah, I mean, just with the whole Hot Boys.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And with the whole
That's a
Hot
brand.
Boys and brand with product. I mean, because he partnered with a
Have you had
product
rap
maker.
snacks yet?
I have
No, I haven't had rap snacks.
What you have, bro? I looked in the backseat of your car, bro. It's a bunch of- you got the chingies.
Hey, look, man.
You had the chingies.
Don't
You had
tell
the
my wife
Migos.
If Master P is selling it, I'm buying it. Okay, I have not tried rap.
I want to try the
snacks
noodles.
yet.
But think
I
about
don't
it
eat
though,
it, though.
like Manny Fresh.
Yeah.
No, Manny Fresh wasn't part of Master P.
That's other
that's
New
Cash
Orleans.
Money.
That's Cash Money. I'm thinking
yeah.
Cash Money. Who was the main producer behind Master P though?
Come on. Master P's.
Who did all those records?
God. This is gonna kill me. It'll come back to me as soon as you start
But
talking.
yeah,
about it.
Nah.
Yeah, but that whole thing, mystical, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was a special dude. He still is a special dude. But listen, I am proud of what I see happening in the podcast world. I see people taking big moves and getting what looks like control. I think sometimes what looks like control is not really. And my goal here is not to throw anybody under the bus or to throw shade on anybody.
Nah, it's just a challenge.
Yeah,
It's like, wake up.
Yeah, I'm not in nobody's deal. I don't know, whatever. But I'm just kind of echoing what you said, which is I hope that people understand that this podcast thing is the wave, right? And we do have a special opportunity. And I applaud cats like Joe for really pounding the table on this.
Joe Budden.
Yeah, Joe Budden.
Yeah.
For pounding the table on this and helping.
Well, he goes hard at Charlemagne. Like, how do you feel about like Charlemagne's move to go with iHeart versus, you know, Joe Budden, who's like, nah, we need to keep this.
I think
the ownership.
My whole problem was it doesn't take a lot of money to produce these things.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why.
Now, granted, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, I'm just talking about right here, right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot of money to produce these things now.
Right. Yeah.
And I think back in the days when you wanted to make an album and do a music video, Director X was charging $1 million for a music video.
Yeah.
So you had to have a label to put out a music video.
Right.
So now it's like, so what's that now?
Mm-hmm.
What is that version of that now?
Right.
Why am I giving away my IP for what?
Yeah, you got cats doing beautiful videos on iPhones, beautiful music videos.
Do you see the next Rockefeller Records, Master P, like Young Money? Do you see the next thing coming out of this?
Yeah, for sure.
But without the Universals and without the.
But see, that's where it's headed though, because you've got the iHearts. You've got
the same people is on it, bro.
Right, the same people. So you got these big media companies who were part of the music industry.
Why are they coming over to the podcast world?
Because this is because number one, they're not making the same money that they used to make in the music industry,
and because the production cost is way lower.
And they trade attention. They don't care. It's just who's watching. So I think I cut you off again, didn't I?
That's cool though.
Go ahead.
We're gonna come up with a nickname.
No, you go ahead.
We're gonna come up with a nickname.
I forgot what I was
this.
gonna say. Go ahead.
You said that they trading attention.
That's all they doing.
Yeah.
So they coming over here, and that's all rappers were doing. Rappers, you weren't selling music. Don't ever think for once you were selling music. They were pushing a product behind your music.
Yeah, that's real.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tenant. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bobbing in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we ride. Going pro, no lead. Make it easy like 1, 2, 3. Go, on 3, 2, 1. I fly till you can't see me.